Welcome everybody to Scarves and Spikes. It's Wednesday, right? Another great Wednesday. Feels so good to have this. It's going to be a great week. How you doing?
Good. Happy Wednesday. My mic was muted earlier, so I'm
Feels
excited.
great.
I'm happy. Clean sheet,
Yeah.
3 more points. I just got to go up to NYCFC and do it, right?
Oh, yeah. And we'll talk about that because this is always an interesting thing when you talk about going to New York and playing in baseball stadiums, and now you're playing in a different baseball stadium. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Yeah, big week. Big week for Atlanta United. Big week for Scarves and Spikes. Big week for the city of Atlanta. She Believes Cup is going to be in town. Atlanta United's playing. What else do we have here? You guys are, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but you guys are doing another pre-match at Signia, right? Signia.
Yeah, Signia by Hilton. April 6th.
And it's my favorite weekend of the year. It's WrestleMania weekend.
WrestleMania weekend.
I don't know what I'm going to do this
way.
weekend. 2 nights. Well, that's the thing. Saturday, I got to bring extra TVs out to have the Atlanta United game on, and I've got like 20 of my friends coming over to watch wrestling. So it's
get that multi view up going, right?
I plan on not leaving my house all weekend. Like, that's my goal. Like, if Saturday morning I wake up, I'm gonna just start watching old wrestling pay-per-views and then get ready for Atlanta United. And yeah,
let's get delivery all weekend. Just like you said, don't leave. Just lock yourself in and just sit down in front of the TV the entire weekend. This also Final Four weekend for basketball fans out there. So a lot of sports. A lot of sports. Yeah, in Cleveland, your neck of the woods.
The
women's Final Four, that is. So men's and women's Final Four going at the same time. So
yeah, and you know what? Like, sticking to the She Believes Cup, like, I just saw that the tickets for the women's Final Four are more expensive than the men's right now. And I don't know if that's ever been the case, but
yeah, Caitlin Clark effect, the South Carolina effect. So yeah,
fun to watch. She's fun to watch.
Yeah, but who you got, by the way? Real quick.
I'm sorry?
Who do you got?
I'm rooting for Caitlin to win.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Barring that, South Carolina. But yeah, so Tyler's not here, as you may have noticed, but Henry is going to be joining us here shortly to help us recap, kind of close the book on Chicago and recap, or not recap, but preview NYCFC up at Citi Field. Not Yankee Stadium, but Citi Field. Go Mets. 0-4 Mets, unfortunately. But but yeah, we have a big announcement. Tommy, what is it? The big news.
So thanks to all of you that listen to us. You're all the best in the world. But we are at 900 YouTube subscribers. Thank you so much. Thank you from all of us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's hard to believe we've come this far. I think we've been doing this for what? 14 months, a year and 2 months, right? And 900 subscribers is a big deal. And it's all thanks to you, all that tune in every week, watch our content throughout the week, just follow our coverage, and we really appreciate it. Next stop 1,000, and hopefully we can get there before too long. But yeah, it's hard to believe looking back where we're coming from, and yeah, it's all thanks to you who support us and have supported us really from the very beginning, and maybe newer people who've come on just recently. So thanks, really appreciate it. You all are the best in MLS, and I mean that for the bottom of my heart.
For sure. So let's talk about Easter. Let's talk about Sunday. Atlanta United gives Chicago, makes them lay an egg on Easter, and they lay the smackdown down on Chicago.
Wrestling term.
Let's start from the beginning. The lineup, right? One of the things that we talked about, and I think I asked you, and we were talking about whether Abram or Cobb was going to get the start throughout this process. And I think you said that maybe at some point during the Gregerson injury that Abram would likely see maybe a start. Were you surprised that the Cobb
I
started?
mean, slightly surprised, and we'll tag Henry in as well. We'll kind of put Henry on the spot since he's just coming in.
Oh, this is what I get for being late. Dang
Pretty
it.
much.
Yeah, get you involved right away.
Deserved.
Were you surprised that Noah Cobb? Well, you saw the lineups on Sunday. Were you surprised that Noah Cobb got the start ahead of Lisa Braun?
Well, in my preview article on the website, I did say that I thought Abram was going to start. It was going to be Williams left center back and then Abram right center back. But I mean, I think it's good that he's getting a chance. So I was, yeah, I'll answer your question straight. Yeah, I kind of was surprised, but when I saw him play this weekend on Sunday, he just seemed very comfortable. He seemed, yeah, at first he had a few shaky kind of moments, miscommunications with Gazan, and kind of a few not ideal decisions, I guess. But he kind of grew into the game, and he had some good defensive interventions. I thought there were a few plays where he managed to just like sprint and just clear the ball in the nick of time, or make a block right when it was needed. So yeah, I was surprised, but I think he did well, and I think you're going to see him probably continue to start in that role going forward. Pineda definitely said that he thought Noah Cobb was outstanding. That's the word he used. A few things to work on, obviously, but I think it's encouraging that you have this young. Hi, Edgar. You have this kind of young talent who can step into that role, and I think it speaks a lot of the academy, and it speaks a lot of what this team is doing with its young players.
Yeah. We got the McClevin jokes in the chat, by the way.
Yeah,
if you're listening after
my heart grows every time. Every time.
Thanks, Tommy. Appreciate you putting that name on me.
We don't have the glasses anymore. We graduated.
Yeah, I know.
So everybody starts. The lineup is pretty much the same. You start your starters. One of the questions was Sleesh going to be available because he played a lot of minutes on international duty. He ends up starting. Got the lowest, I think, FOTMOB score. I think we talked about that the other day. I thought he was okay. I didn't think that there was anything glaring out from him that was like, oh, he's tired.
I agree. And I'm gonna let you finish, Tommy and Henry. Tyler's joining us just super quick from where are you again? Silverbacks Park near 285 in Atlanta. For the Open Cup. Yes.
Okay. I'm probably going to barely be able to hear you, so I'll only stay for a minute. I just want to come in and
What you got?
My favorite people. What's up?
Aww.
Are you coaching this game?
Yeah.
You look like a coach.
I might as well be right here at the bench.
There you go.
So, no, it's watch our podcast and then go watch this game. But, yeah, it's Apotheos playing first Open Cup match ever, and Chattanooga Rebels playing. So, good match. But I know y'all are talking Atlanta United. I just had to come in and say howdy. Give you guys, I don't know, a little bit of show and tell from Silverbacks Park. Say howdy. And
howdy.
Yeah, it's an Open Cup crowd, but there's people trickling in.
Yeah. Well,
there's a good atmosphere.
Have fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be busy. I gotta provide the stats for this match.
Oh.
No pressure.
Look at you, the stat man.
He's the FOTMOB guy today.
Yeah, look, if it goes to FOTMOB, I'm giving everybody 10s just to make up for all the wrong in the world.
Yeah. Well, enjoy the match. Have fun.
I will.
And we'll see you next week, I think.
Have fun. Have a good time.
Cheers, Tyler.
Bye, Tyler.
Adios. Tyler Pilgrim guest appearance on his little podcast.
Right.
All right. Sorry, Tommy.
All right, so where were we? So the lineups there, Sleesh was fine. I think that the biggest concern for people early on in that game was Atlanta United was pretty much dominating the game, right? They weren't allowing many chances, but they looked off, right? Especially early on. The passes were off. The ideas were there, but they just weren't able to execute them. How'd you guys feel about how the game started?
Yeah, a little sloppy. I mean, I feel like that's been the case with this team more often than not this year. They've kind of started out a little bit sloppy, a little bit slow, and for the most part, they've been able to get things going later on. So I think that was part of it against Chicago. The passes were kind of sloppy to start with. Cobb and Guzan got a little bit crossed up in the back earlier in the match. And, you kind of thought, oh my gosh, is this going to be one of those matches? But they just said it after the match, that first goal kind of really changed things because if it had been, he said, if it had been 0-0 at the break instead of 1-0 at the break, it would have been a much different match in that, they'd be really, this is me talking, just desperate to get a goal. Not really desperate, but chasing a goal, looking to get themselves ahead on their own turfs in a place where, you never want to lose, right? So definitely agree with him on that the complexion of the match would have been different if it were level. But the Akamakis goal really gave them that boost of confidence, I think, to go out and, get things done. Second half didn't start out that well, and Pineda talked about it too. He wasn't happy with the way the second half started, and you kind of felt like Chicago would kind of nick one eventually, but Thierry comes in kind of in not the best circumstances, but he comes in and gets a hat trick, and he scores on his first touch, which we talked about already, but comes in, makes an immediate impact. Yeah,
Almost
has a hat trick. Almost has a hat trick. Yeah, it's a substitute.
A natural hat trick. Is it called a natural hat trick in soccer?
Yeah, okay. Scoring 3 goals in a row on your own. So,
in a row? Is that the rule of a natural hat trick?
Uninterrupted, basically.
Uninterrupted hat trick.
Yeah. In hockey, it's just score 3 in one period.
Oh, okay.
Well, and he had one called back for offside, so he was pretty close to getting it. He almost got a hat trick on his birthday, which, I mean, it's cool.
He had to settle for a bracelet on his birthday. I mean, I hope he's not too disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he is because he looked pretty happy in the locker room. I think it's fine, and I mean, he got his first few goals, and sometimes you just need the first goal for the rest to come in. And he's still the backup striker, but you want a backup striker that can still score because we've had problems with that in the past, haven't we, Tommy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of jabronis we've had before.
Enough about Cubo Torres, though.
Or all of them.
I thought we were talking about Eric Lopez or Miguel Berry or I'll stop.
Adam John got 3 goals though with Atlanta United.
Oh yes, he did. Yeah, we were kind of talking about. We were kind of talking about. I know you hate Adam John, Tommy.
I hate him so much.
No, we were talking about. Kind of the backup strikers during our ratings video, and pretty much the luck that Atlanta United has had with them. Outside of maybe Cisneros, outside of maybe to some extent Wire, but yeah. It's important because we found out that Gigi is day-to-day for Atlanta United. He didn't train with the team on Tuesday, but he is day-to-day. Pineda said they're going to monitor that to see how things go and make the decision to play him or not play him against NYC on Saturday. And we'll get to maybe do we think Gigi will be fit for the match maybe a little bit later on, but yeah, I mean, you hope that. I mean, first off, it's good news. It's good news that it's just day to day. It doesn't sound like anything that's super serious right now, at least at the moment. So you hope that he's okay. You hope that this is just like Pineda called it, probably a knock, he collided knees with a Chicago player. So that's all that is, just a knock and just him needing to just take a little time off to get himself back, a little time off of the training ground, that is, to get himself back to fitness and be ready to go. Good thing is about the NYC game, it's going to be played on natural grass, so you won't be having to play on turf at all. So I guess that's one thing that kind of works in his favor. But
And you hope the weather clears up too, though. The East Coast has been bad. The East Coast and the weather this week has been. I mean, there's been like 6 baseball games canceled in like the past 2 days. It's been real bad up here. So you hope that the weather clears up, because New York's been getting it pretty hard there. But yeah,
do we know what the weather is going to be like over there over the weekend?
It's going to be cloudy in the 50s. Around, well, actually, I was going to say around kickoff. No, it's supposed to be the upper 40s around kickoff, 7:30, 7:40 kickoff. So
it's not bad.
Yeah, not bad. Could be worse, but no rain. I don't know if the wind will be a factor. It doesn't look like it will be. Just kind of looking at the weather right now, doesn't look like the wind will be a factor. But yeah, again, the grass. If you're playing on grass, if it were maybe wetter, you probably take a little more precautions with him. But they have a lot of expectations for TRA. And Pineda said, this is the first time, I have 2 strikers that I'm confident can put the ball in the net at the same time. And he hinted at potential 2-striker system, perhaps, if they need to. And I don't know if you've seen a lot of that from Pineda during this time here, the dual strikers up top, dual number 9s up top, to really change the complexion of the game, really add the extra juice to your attack. Now, the question with that is, of course, if you do go 2 number 9s at the top, who do you kind of take out as a result? And does that mean the back 3? Does that mean, another tactical shift or something like that? Maybe you do have the back 4, 2 midfielders, the Alpha Almada, and maybe you have, I don't know. I'm not a tactician. I'm not a manager, so I'll leave that for Pineda to figure out. But that's a big question you got to ask. If you do go 2 strikers at any point, I don't know if they'll have it against NYC, but if you do have the necessity to go 2 up front, who comes off? I think that's the big question. And what does that look like for the rest of the team from a tactical standpoint? So maybe a little wrinkle that we'll see Pineda put in later in the season, or as he said, as Atlanta are chasing games, if they're in the position where they have to chase a game, maybe on the road, you have that option to, put TRA in the attack. So I guess, what are you guys thinking? If we see that so often, or
has this team ever played with 2 strikers with Giakoumakis?
No, I don't think so.
No, right? I'm just curious how comfortable Giakoumakis will be playing with another striker. I mean, he seems to be the kind of guy that really kind of wants that space up front. He doesn't really drift a whole lot. He's the reference point really for the attack, and so I don't know if adding another striker will kind of throw that balance off. I don't think it's a terrible idea. I mean, I certainly think, like, in a game where you're missing Thiago Almada, for example, or someone else, you could then go to that, move into a potential like 4-4-2 or something like that, or a 3-5-2, and have TRA and Giakoumakis up front. But I'm curious. I'd want to ask Giakoumakis how comfortable he would feel playing in a front 2. Because here, at least, I mean, he's only played as the lone striker. And I mean, each system has its own advantages and disadvantages. But yeah, I think he looked okay in the locker room after the game. He was walking around. I think he's been individually kind of training apart. I haven't seen the reports yet. But I think he might be training with the team tomorrow. If not, then maybe he's not fit to play. Don't want to cause panic yet. We'll know a bit more information tomorrow. But yeah, I think it's good to know that you have another option that can score in that position for when you don't have Giakoumakis. Now, fortunately, this team won't be missing him for the Euros. Unfortunately for him, but fortunate for Atlanta United fans. So we'll see.
Dual-edged sword there. You're not going to Euros, but hey, it's good for Atlanta.
You got Leagues Cup.
Well,
Yeah, Leagues Cup too. So yeah,
so let's stop there for a minute. We got to go back to. We got to finish up with the Chicago game. There's a couple more points I want to talk to you both about.
yeah.
So this was Noah Cobb's first chance, right? He has been thrown into some real crappy situations, right? He's been thrown into these games where it's just a mismatch of players because of international duty. This was his first opportunity to play with the starters, get a chance to really show what he can do out there. What are your thoughts? How do you think he did overall?
It's good. I mean, this was his first. I talked about it on the radio show. We talked about it. Tommy, you, me, and Tyler talked about it on the radio show. This was his first kind of quote unquote normal game, I would say. Of course, Columbus, you were strapped for personnel. You're strapped for personnel against them, and you didn't really have any option then. And of course, he got blown out 6-1. I think it was against NYC he played. He started last year at home. This year, was his first quote unquote normal match, I think. And he looked good. He looked good. I mean, he didn't really do anything. I mentioned early in the match, he kind of got crossed up, Goof Gazan. Outside of that, I don't think there's anything that stood out in a negative way. I mean, maybe anything that stood out in a clearly amazing way. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he did that. He was stepping in the back. Granted, Chicago maybe didn't cause too much havoc for the defenders, but he was good. He was good. As he gains confidence, as he gains experience, he's going to get better. And we've mentioned this before on the show. The team is just very high on him, very keen on his abilities, keen on what he can do. Derek Williams, certainly. Brad Guzan, certainly. The front office, obviously, because they signed him to this contract, and they really think he's going to be a really good center back for them. I think he's going to be measured in some extent to Miles Robinson. I don't think that's a fair assessment because they're two different players. Miles, when you saw him, from a mentality standpoint, he wasn't that edgy defender. He wasn't that super vocal, super aggressive defender. He was a stopper, I think. I think Cobb can add that aggressive, add that fire, add that vocalness to the back line that maybe Miles didn't have. So, again, I thought it was good. I think as he gets more time to field, to get better. But to me, yeah, it's kind of first quote unquote normal time on the pitch, and I didn't think he did anything to alarm fans outside of the one stretch in the back, which you can correct. I mean, that just comes with communication. That's just my 2 cents. Interested in hearing you guys' 2 cents as well.
I mean, I think I agree with Tommy saying kind of, he's been thrown into a lot of crappy situations. He got the 6-1 Columbus game. He got the 2-0 Toronto game. And really, that's not a fair measuring stick of his abilities. But now when you see him with kind of this full team, you have a competent midfield in front of you, like a really solid midfield in front of you. You have, most of your starters back. And obviously you're at home. I mean, that also helps. I think it's great that this game was played at home for him. It gives him the confidence. The crowd is on your side. I mean, it's not easy when you're a 17-year-old, going out and playing in a stadium where people are booing you and shouting things at you and just, the environment is against you. So him having this game at home in the Benz with everyone behind him, I think that probably helped him boost his confidence a bit. But yeah, I think he did pretty good. Mostly for players kind of in the defense, you don't want them to necessarily stand out, I guess, in a sense of like if they're standing out, usually it's for like a bad reason. Um, but I think he got the job done. You know, you got your clean sheet. He seemed to communicate well with Derek Williams, and you know he did what he had to do. And I think the more minutes that he gets in MLS, the more he's going to feel comfortable at that level. The more experience he's going to get, and uh, ultimately, that's what you want because he's the future of this team. Let's be real. Um, so yeah, I think it was good for him. Good game, and you know, hopefully, he's probably going to get the start this weekend. So we'll see how he does in a road game, another road game with the squad, not you know the depleted squad because 7 players are out.
Right. Now, I wonder, this is just a small thing here, but I believe Abrams played in a smaller stadium, right? Like City Field's not, I don't think, as small as Yankees Field, but I think it's still smaller, right? Unless I'm wrong here.
I can check. Let me see.
All right, you do that while we talk, but
Well, I got to
yeah,
call
I mean,
timeout on you first, Tommy.
okay.
You called it Yankees Field.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
whatever.
Yankee Stadium.
Whatever.
I'm
Hate
just
the Yankees.
having fun. At
Stupid
least you didn't call it.
Stadium.
At least you didn't call it Wrigley
City
Stadium.
Field,
Like,
Yankee Stadium. I know. I got it all. I got it all wrong there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a unique place to play, and you've heard people that have just come to MLS and played on there for the first time that it can be difficult. That's just one possible thing that maybe, I believe he did start there last time that they played. So just something to think about. No, but you know what? It was early in the season last year, and I think Abram took a little bit to start. So maybe I might be off there. I'm not sure if he ended up playing that last game, but just a thought about that. The only other thing I wanted to bring up was on Spaces, we were talking about, obviously the right side has been great, right? Lennon, Saba. I mean, we can't talk enough. I feel like now with Brooks, we're expecting him to do so well. You know, a lot of times we were like talking very negative about him, and like now we're just getting kind of used to it, and the praise isn't always there. But man, I mean, Brooks is just continuing to have a great season. But the left side, people are getting a little frustrated with Silva, and we started talking a little bit about Caleb Wiley, and we started going back and thinking about the times where it was Gutman and Caleb Wiley, and it seemed like they had a really good relationship. They knew when to switch, who was going to attack, who was going to come back, and I'm not sure if Silva and Wiley have that down yet. So I wanted to get your thoughts on Silva and Wiley and this partnership. Yeah,
I like Silva didn't really have a good game. I feel like
did he have the hockey assist on the
yes,
Yakimakis
he did.
goal?
He did. But I mean, he I don't know if he's pressing. I don't know if his chemistry with Wiley. I don't know what it is. I just haven't been convinced with the Chande this season yet. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I feel like it is a little bit harder on him than it is most players. He has the ability, he has the talent. I think back to Columbus in the playoffs where he kind of missed. Wait, not kind of. He missed a sitter, absolute sitter. but other than that, we know he has a nose for goal. We know he can score. We know he has that ability, and I feel like he's more of a scoring threat than Shande. I feel like Saba. I feel like Saba is more that playmaker, that two-way player that can get things done on either side of the field and provide those balls in the box that you need. I feel like that partnership with Lennon is certainly more sound than Shande and Caleb at this time. So you hopefully things improve for those two, Caleb and Shande. But just for now, I don't know if it's a kind of rough start for him. Hopefully he shakes out of that against NYC. But yeah,
it's a hard stadium, I think, to do that in with his specific skills. I think it might. You got a home stretch coming after this, but I'm not too convinced that maybe it's the New York game. But I mean, he's definitely got to get it going. Him and Caleb have to start getting that relationship on track, because I think sometimes Caleb's been struggling a little bit too. I've been okay on Caleb. There's been some people who have been real down about him on Spaces over the past few weeks. I think he's just been okay, nothing overly impressive. But I think that side, it's something to keep an eye on here as the season progresses.
So I just wanted to jump in here and answer the question that we had. Yankee Stadium and Citi Field actually have the same dimensions when it comes to soccer. They're both 110 meters long by 70 meters wide.
So the same.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah. Now going back to the topic, because I also wanted to talk about that. Yeah, the left side has been okay, I think. Sean De Silva, he's an interesting player because he's so fun to just kind of watch, try to take on these players and like pull out this stupidly weird and awesome skill moves that are just like pure entertainment value, even if they don't exactly make sense all the time for like the context of the situation that he's in. Because sometimes like you want him to let a shot fly or just make the simple pass, and he goes kind of one step beyond. He's like, but wait, I can do this, and then tries to like take on a defender, take a touch in, cut inside, and it just doesn't work, right? um, Kind of Luis Araujo-esque in that sense. Sorry. And also in the shots that he was taking on Sunday, like I don't think he put a single one on frame, except for maybe like the bouncing shot that hit the floor and nearly went in.
Yeah, that's awkward.
Like he tried to like a bicycle kick it, didn't he?
Uh-huh.
And it almost worked out, but no. So yeah, I mean, I think he just kind of needs to start scoring again. The hockey assist, obviously, that's important. But it just kind of seems like he isn't as effective as he was last season. And I hope that doesn't like hit his confidence too much, because he really is a good player on his day.
Yeah.
But I think he'll, like, the club, I'm sure, has full faith that he will find his form and that he is a quality player. That's why they exercise his purchase option. They could have not done that. They did. And that's why he's here. So I think you will see hopefully an improvement at some point. He really just needs the first one to go in, kind of like TRA, you know.
Yeah.
So maybe once he scores that first goal for this season, he can really get going, and the confidence picks up, and it's a kind of a positive feedback loop
Yeah.
in that sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100%. And the last I'm just going to say here, the life of a backup has to be so rough, because everybody was on here trashing TRA last week. We can't get the backup striker. We can't do it. And then Twitter's just absolutely loving him. Let's not overreact here. Okay? If TRA comes in and has to start this week, whatever, like, let's just not jump. Like, this is a long season, right? And he's had concussions, right? He's had to, get over a concussion as well. Let's see what happens here with him. And, I don't think there's any perfect backup strikers, in this league that are just gonna, every time they come in, score a goal.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
This is good signs. Like, we went over that list of names that Rob posted the other day of like who he's outscored in like their entire career with Atlanta United in like 30 minutes. So it's a bright spot. Let's just take it for what it is. And, I'm sure we'll overreact to whatever happens this weekend. But we'll see.
Hopefully no one wants to cut him after maybe he doesn't score. Hopefully no one wants to cut him. If he starts, by the way. If he starts.
Yeah.
If he plays. But
yeah, for sure.
We shall see.
He'll probably play. I don't think.
Happen. Oh.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, like, if Giakoumakis isn't like a 100% for Saturday, he's not going to play. They're going to limit his minutes. Being realistic, I mean, so TRA is probably going to see time. I don't know if that's in a starting capacity or if he's going to come off the bench at like 60 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to how he did on Sunday. But yeah, I think you'll definitely see minutes, and I think that'll be good for him. I think
Yeah,
you'll see a better TRA than the one that we've seen
yeah,
before Sunday.
yeah. Exactly.
For sure. So one rumor, or I don't even know if it's been confirmed. I mean, where he's going, but McFadden, right, going out on loan. Kind of surprising, right?
I
Interesting move,
didn't see that.
because it was
Well, surprise.
Doug Robertson tweeted it out that he's going on loan, and the club is still to be announced. It's interesting because now when you look at the squad, the thinnest areas are the fullbacks. Um, and before, you had McFadden for that right side. I don't know if can you also play on the left side. I don't remember really. I know that Hernandez can. Um, but yeah, so at bare minimum, you had four fullbacks, right? Wiley Lennon is your starting pair, and then back up you have McFadden and Hernandez. Well, now you're just down to Hernandez. So it's when at before the start of the season, when we talked to Carlos Bocanegra and he said like, "Hey, we're still working on one more signing," which turns out to be Daniel Rios. Uh, it was between a striker and a fullback for me, particularly a left back because uh, Ronald Hernandez and Aiden McFadden aren't like natural left backs. Um, so having another left back, a natural left back, um, would help there. It's interesting that they're making this move. I don't know. I guess they're trying to give him minutes because they can't guarantee him minutes
Yeah.
here. Because even when all 7 of the absences happened for that Toronto game, Aiden McFadden didn't see minutes. So I guess their thought is, well, there's no point having him on the bench. We're not going to play him. Just send him somewhere else for now. Let him continue to develop, or not rust. And we'll be fine with what we have.
I really want to see them sign a backup left back for Caleb. I thought they would in the off season. I thought they would by now. But I mean, he's not going to play, right? Like, Aiden's not going to play. I mean, you have Roddy behind Lennon right now. So he's a preferred backup to Lennon on the right. And he has played a little bit on the left, but that's not his natural position. So I would like to see them get a true left back, a left outside back to spell Wiley, because he's going to be gone probably to the Olympics. And now that McFadden is being loaned out, you have one less option for depth, especially if Hernandez is your backup at right. Do you switch Hernandez to left? Hernandez has been a left back, I believe. Tyler Wolf has experience on the left side. He could play there, but I'd like to see him sign a true wingback option on the left to spell Caleb if and when he does leave this summer for France. So that's a move that I was expecting that we haven't seen yet, but have to see what the club has up its sleeves. But again, I wasn't really up on the potential of McFadden being loaned, but now that I hear about it, it's not a surprise that he's going out, because just get him minutes, get him some time, get him somewhere where he can play, and be that much better for you if he wants to affect the first team.
I think even if you're in a pinch, you could always call up someone from the second team, like Eric Centeno or something.
You could, yeah.
Like you have options there.
Yeah, but do you want him playing in the sustained basis, Centeno? If Wiley
No, but then again, you're not getting someone for a sustained, like, if you're loaning McFadden, it's because he's not going to get minutes, right? Because you're not going to loan a player that you're going to have to play. And like as of right now, Lennon and Wiley are kind of staying on for most of the game, and really, has Lennon even been subbed off really for any of the games?
I don't think so. I think
Wiley really has been the only one subbed off, and in his place has come like Abram or something. Usually toward the end, if Atlanta's winning the game, they go to the back three with Abram. So I think if you're not going to give McFadden the minutes, just let him go. And if you end up really needing a fullback for depth, then you can lean on your twos.
Yeah, Brooks Lena, I think, alongside Brad Gazan, are the only players for Atlanta United to have played every minute of every match thus far this season. And I'm kind of fact checking myself at this point in time. Yeah, Gazan and Lennon have played every minute of every match this season. Williams right behind. He was subbed off for Abram, as you were just saying, Henry. So, yeah, McFadden looks to be on loan or headed on loan eventually.
Yeah, God forbid there is, knock on wood, Tyler, any type of injury. I mean that's where you could possibly run into some issues. So I guess that's the worry there, but I mean we'll see. Okay, well, we got through that. Before we get into the New York thing, I'm gonna go get my baseball glove, but let's real quick, scarfandspikes.com, Henry, Tyler, Sydney, the entire gang have been doing a great job on there with all the articles. Someone asked me if I ever want to write an article, and I said no thanks.
Come on.
Maybe one day. Maybe
you could try writing one of the previews or an opinion piece. You could put your rants into words on the website. There you go.
That is true. I could just do an entire article of emojis. Just emojis and guess what player I'm rating by the emoji.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. Check out the website. Subscribe on there. Get access to all the articles. Sydney, you want to talk about what you guys are doing at Signia this week?
Yeah, April 6th, Saturday after the doubleheader. She believes doubleheader match against Brazil and Canada, or between Brazil and Canada, will be at Signia by Hilton. Nest on 4. Beautiful hotel right across from Mercedes-Benz Stadium, so right across from the backyard. You can't miss it. We'll be wrapping up the She Believes Cup, wrapping up the semifinal matches, looking ahead to the final in Columbus on Tuesday or a few days later, and then previewing Atlanta United versus New York City FC, which will be at 7:30, 7:40 kickoff from Citi Field. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Absolutely free. Don't have to pay anything to get in, but if you want to buy something at the bar, obviously you're more than welcome to buy some food, buy some drinks, and all that good stuff. But 6:30 about we'll get started. You get Signia by Hilton, the Nest on 4, or Signia by Hilton Hotel, Nest on 4 Sports Bar. The Atlanta United match will be playing on that Halo little miniature Halo board in the bar. So we want to see you there. Come on out, join us, join Tyler and I. We'll be hanging out there. Looking forward to meeting you.
I won't be there, but I'll be there in
we'll
spirit.
They're in spirit. Exactly.
I kept looking up all the sad emojis or like sad memes and gifs of just me in the corner. Just think you guys. I mean, I'll be in wrestling glory, but that's
right.
We'll let it candle for you. I mean, we'll pour one out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, don't pour it out on the. It's a nice hotel, so don't. Don't,
not literally.
Don't do that. Yeah. No. All right. So, Saturday, New York, Citi Field, small pitch.
Before you do that,
did I miss something?
Patreon.com/Scars and
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you have it prepared, the graphic and everything. My bad. Yeah, Patreon. Come join us. The Discord. We're all in there, joking around, talking about the team. Tyler's and Sydney and McLovin here. They're always they're at practice getting the recordings of everybody, all the players speaking after practice. So we get that out to you. So if you want it right away, these guys are getting it posted even before the team gets some of that posted. So join us there. Discounts on merch. We're planning a watch along here soon. We've been a little bit delayed on this one, but we're gonna get one up and going here soon. Yeah,
you get access to the super cool Discord.
Yeah,
which is pretty. We have really, really cool conversations there.
Yes,
stuff like that.
Fun conversations, productive conversations sometimes, but
like 50 channels for like 50 different things.
No, but thanks to all our patrons. Thanks for everyone who supports us financially. It really does mean a lot. But yeah, patreon.com/Scars and Spikes.
All right, here's the question. If Giacomakis played baseball, what position would he play?
Catcher, because you need that tough physical kind of player to play catcher, right? To take those
But those
shots.
knees, those
Yeah,
knees.
that's true. That's true.
I feel like he'd be a first
Um,
baseman for.
First baseman.
Yeah, I just kind of feel like him being like the big guy. Um, I don't know. I just think of kind of like a Freddie Freeman or something like that. But yeah, just a first
A little
baseman.
more brawn, a little
Yeah,
stronger. Freddie Freeman.
yeah, and just kind of the big guy on first base. And also kind of the way he kind of messes with people. I like that.
So you go into this game. You've proven the doubters, the fans, right now, early in the season so far, that you could play defense and you could still score goals, right? Because there's two things about Atlanta United that we went into the offseason that people were not, that if you wanted to complain about something, it was we allowed too many goals. Well, we went through that because,
Yep.
One of our faithful Spaces persons that come in, Bo, came in and started talking a little bit about the defense and saying that he wasn't impressed. And I chirped back at him because I'm like, what else really can you do here? A lot of the goals that you allowed is when the team wasn't at full strength. You're not allowing a lot of goals at home. You're scoring first. So I think so far, early on, you've been able to prove that you've been able to play defense. So that's one. Two is we still have this problem. We have not won on the road yet. Now, the 2 road games obviously have some asterisks next to them. The Columbus game, I'm going to say the asterisks because Amada joined the team late. A lot of new players coming in there. Again, you're playing the champions. You want to call it excuse? Call it excuse. That's fine. But then the Toronto game was the disaster, right? This Toronto game was the Columbus game last year, but you didn't lose 6-1, right? You just allowed 2 goals. Wasn't nearly as bad. A more inferior team, I get it. But those were your 2 situations. You're now going into Citi Field. I got it right this time. You're going there. We're not sure what's going to happen with Giakoumakis at this point. But it seems like you've got everyone else available. So can Pineda prove here that he can win on the road?
Well, don't forget too that NYCFC have been in kind of shaky form, and there's been a few questions about where their head coach could be out of their job soon. Nick Cushing. I feel like the shine has kind of come off of that championship they won a few years ago. So yeah, their form has been kind of shaky. They've won just once. They've drawn a match and they've lost 4 times. And just kind of take a look at their schedule. Lost to Charlotte to open the season on the road. Lost to St. Louis on the road. Lost to Portland at home on a really great goal, Golazo by Anthony from Portland. Beat Toronto. Lost to Cincinnati, and then drew Inter Miami. So maybe the form isn't there that you would expect from them. And just take a look at the NYC or Inter Miami match. That was without Messi. They pulled over in the 34th after going down a goal. So this is a team that this is their 3rd home match, and they lost the first one. They won the second one in pretty handy fashion. So, I mean, they're right for the picking, I think. They're right for the picking. They don't have really, I would say, of course, this team used to have Tati Castellanos, one of the best players in the league, one of the best strikers in the league. Do they have a player that really scares or really should scare Atlanta United? And you have Talius Magno, a young DP, who his form has been not good. I mean, he used to be a very strong young player for them, but his form had come into some criticism. They have Santi Rodriguez, who, and kind of backtracking on Magno, I think he's been injured for most of the year. So, but in 2023, his form was called into question. Santi Rodriguez, their number 10, 2 goals, no assists at this point. So, He's not really playing to the best of his ability. But outside of that, they have Thiago, a defender. I mean, we talk Thiago Martins, of course, who we know about, a veteran at MLS. So outside of that, I mean, who are you really afraid of on NYCFC? They have Keaton Parks, of course. Keaton Parks has been dealing with injuries. They have James Sands as well. Uh, their goalkeeper is not Sean Johnson. It's been Sean Johnson over the past 2 years, last year. And this year they have a different player in that. So, Matt Freeze, I should say, Matt Freeze. So, I mean, this isn't the New York City that we've known and loved over the past, or known and loathed, I should say, over the past year. This is a team that is kind of treading water, maybe just a little bit, and will be kind of desperate to get wins pretty quickly before they fall further behind on the table. So I think Atlanta United need to understand that, and they need to understand that, hey, we need to get wins on the road. We have to get wins on the road if we're going to come anywhere close to a potential shield or at top 4. These are matches that you have to win, and I think they're going to need to assert their dominance. And you have pretty much all 3 players in place. Go out and do it. Go out and win. Go out and get 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, to be a real contender, you have to be able to win on the road. Like it is shown from Shield contenders like the past 5 seasons. They're the ones that know how to win on the road and get results where maybe they shouldn't, right? And like you said, Sydney, like this is a game where you're going up against an opponent that is not in great form. They're not doing too well. You have a more talented roster. You have a better team on paper, and you need to take it to the grass now. You need to play your game, right? And you need to get the result. So I was just doing a bit of kind of napkin math. We're talking
Show me
about
the napkin.
the napkin is actually my phone.
You
But
young kids
virtual
and your
napkins.
phones.
yeah, I'm sorry, boomers. But yeah, so talking about supporter shield contenders, the average points needed to win the supporter shield in the past 5 seasons, not including 2020 because that was a weird year, 70.4, round that down to 70, right? 70 points to win the shield on average. Last season, Atlanta United had 51 points. Guess how many points Atlanta United would get this season if they only won their home games and won nothing else? If they won all their home games but nothing else. 51 points. Okay, you're seeing a trend? All right.
Yeah.
So, in order to get to those 70, you need, assuming that you win those 50, you get those 51 points from all your home games, your 17 home games, you get 3 points from them, right? You need 19 points from your road games to get to that 70. So
that's 6 wins in the draw, right? I
6
mean,
wins in a draw. Yep.
It's not a lot.
It's not a lot. But
if you've watched Atlanta United for the past 75 years, you know that's a shit ton of points.
It shouldn't be a lot.
That's the whole point, right? Like, it shouldn't be a lot. And, like, look at some of the road records of past Shield winners. Cincinnati, 2023, 7-3-7 on the road.
Yeah.
Right? They got 69 points last year. That's what they won the Shield with. LAFC 2022, 8-1, 7-2, 2 draws, 67 points. New England in 2021, 10-1 on the road. LAFC 8-1 on the road in 2019. Like, you just even Atlanta, when they were in that Shield race with Red Bulls in 2018, Atlanta won 10 on the road. They actually won more on the road than Red Bulls did that year. They were just unlucky that they, crapped the bed in Toronto and lost the Shield. But yeah, basically, you need to win on the road, y'all. And there's no better chance to get your first road win than against a team that's struggling, bottom of the table right now. And you have a better team than them. It's a game that they have to win. Like, you have no excuses now, really. You just got to go and get the job done.
I'll kind of add to that, Tommy. The year that NYCFC won the MLS Cup, I think all of their matches were away in playoffs. All of their matches were away from Citi Field or Yankee Stadium or Pratt and Whitney Stadium or wherever. Yeah, all their matches were away from home, and they went out and just went on this really a dream run. Just
Except
to
us.
perform.
They beat
Except,
us
yeah.
in New York.
That's what I was
Yeah.
about to say.
Yeah, exactly. So they were very lethal on the road. They had a little bit of dry spell later in the season, but it's one of this terrific run where most of their matches were on the road in the playoffs, and they ended up winning MLS Cup. So yeah, that kind of definitely speaks to Henry what you're just talking about. Just you gotta win on the road. You gotta, absolutely gotta.
So I'm gonna apologize here because I talked about one of our listeners on the show and what he said. So let me correct myself. Bo came in here and said, "Let's get it straight." I said our defense wasn't impressive because we still haven't gone against a good team. We've only beaten bottom tier. And then he adds on, nothing proven yet this year. Wins against weak or crippled, and losses when crippled or where expected. You play your games that you get in front of you. You can't affect that. And you allowed 1 goal against Columbus. How many times have we played Columbus and we've allowed 5-6 goals? That we talked about it after week 1. Yeah, we lost 1-0. You take out that last year's Atlanta United team and put it out there for the home opener, we're getting whooped. We are getting destroyed. We're getting stone cold stunned. There we go. I'm gonna keep using the wrestling references. I'm in the mood for it. You get destroyed, and then yeah, you go against Toronto and you allow 2 goals. But at home, what have you allowed? You've allowed 1 goal against New England.
A silly
right,
goal at that.
Yeah.
Silly goal.
Who else?
That's it. That's the only goal you've conceded at home this season. Because
Yeah,
the
you've
other
had 2
two
clean
games were clean
sheets.
sheets.
What else do you want? Like you play the games that are put in front of you right now, and all we have is proof of concept. And what we've seen, yes, you've faced higher teams, you have faced teams that have had injuries, people they've sat starters. You've had those situations, but guess what, Bo or whoever's listening, go back and look at the past couple years of team games we were supposed to win, and at home we didn't win. We lost against Charlotte last year at home. Like it was never a guaranteed thing here. We're winning the games that we're supposed to. So I can't be negative about this so far because I mean we lead the league in goal differential right now, right?
I believe so.
Yep, with 5.
Yeah.
Positive 5.
Look at us, right? Look at us. Someone knows that.
Who would have thought?
Right? Yeah, who would have thought?
Paul
Four
Rudd.
goals conceded. Also, 4 goals conceded is the second least in the Eastern Conference, behind Cincinnati, who has only conceded 3.
And we have played 1 less game, so we'll put that out there.
Yeah, I mean, you have that, but still, it's
Yeah.
the eye test. It's better when you see it in action. You just see that things are better. Like the defenders, like the players are getting in the right spots. They're making the right blocks, occupying the right spaces. They're covering the right passing lanes. They're doing things right. Doing things that they weren't doing last season, right? And part of that also has to do with the midfield, because now you have 2 good midfielders that help limit space at the top of the box. Because one of the big problems last season was that once the opponent broke that first line and got in behind your midfield, it was up to the back line to pretty much do the whole job of keeping them from getting a shot at Brad Gazan. And usually that didn't go well. But yeah, having players like Bartos Slish, I thought he's been pretty solid so far. I think, I mean, first of all, his passing has been great. He's helped the team play out of the back, but also defensively, he just knows where he has to be. I've seen him, make some interceptions, and I go like, okay, well, this is not something that Santiago Sosa or Franco Ibarra would do, right? Because he instinctively kind of knows where the pass is going or where the ball will be played. And so he positions himself very well. Just going back and watching like the New England game, the Orlando game, he had several of those instances. So that's great for him. And he's playing alongside a player like Tristan, who is just like a freaking a battery. Like the guy has energy for days. Guys running around and putting in tackles, and just when you have midfielders that can move around like that, cover space, and they know where they have to be to properly support the back line, it makes everyone's job defensively so much easier.
Tristan's going to score at least 3 goals this year, I think, too. One of this probably going to be goal of the week. He's going to get a banger from distance. It's going to be like goal of the week. I guarantee it.
There was one moment in the Chicago match. I don't remember at what point. It might have been like the first half or something. But Bartosz Slish had the ball like at the edge of the box, like right in front. It was perfect for him to just like let it rip. And I think the entire stadium was kind of like, but just hit it, man. Just hit it.
Yeah.
And he kind of like never decided what he wanted to do and tried to like play Lennon in or something, but it went horribly wrong and it just like went to a defender. It was like I think if he gets the confidence to take that shot, you never know. Kind of like, Rodri for Man City, like the shots that he takes from way outside.
Yeah.
Or Martinez, like the goals that he scores are typically just like he lets it rip from long range, and if it goes wide or whatever, like at least you tried to take a shot. If it goes in, hey, it might be just goal of the week right there.
Bo also said here he's just waiting to see what happens when this team gets tested by a top 6 team, and you're getting to that part of the schedule here. You're getting after this. You have a 2-game homestand against Philadelphia and against Cincinnati, and that's going to be a huge stretch, which is
pretty stout.
Yeah, and like that's why it's going to be pretty important to get these points here, because your April is on the road with New York, and then the 2 games I just mentioned, and then you finish up on the road against Chicago. And hey, we haven't done very good in Chicago over the years, right?
Yeah.
We've had some interesting things happen in those games. So this month of April is a big month for Atlanta United for sure, and you're going to learn a lot here too, and what this team might still need, going into the next transfer window, right? I mean, you got to start figuring that out. And we talked about it on, I think, the ratings this week. Like, Atlanta United's in an interesting situation. You have your backup center back who also goes on international duty. Like, how does that help this team long term? I mean, you've got 2 important guys that aren't playing minutes with Abram and Etienne. And I know he's going to play a little bit, but he hasn't shown us anything. So
and each one is being paid around like $600K.
Yeah.
Which isn't ideal.
And right. River Plate, if you're listening, these guys are available. We've got good deals with you. We got a coupon for you. If you want to take them, get them for a little bit cheaper. We will work with you. We promise.
Real quick, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. Do you start TRA against NYC, or do you go with GG?
I think it really depends on what information we get tomorrow, between tomorrow and Friday. If we find out that GG is, in full training tomorrow, and he looks solid, he can run, he feels no discomfort, I think that I would definitely just run him out. You could certainly use a player like him in a game like this, especially on the road. If it were at home, I feel like you'd be okay with TRA, but you need to win your first road game. Like, this has to be it. And so you can't go wrong. You have to put GG if he's available. If he's questionable, or if it's like he's still kind of training individually, or reduced training or whatever, I might opt for just throw TRA out there. He also kind of deserves his reward for the 2 goals against Chicago. So I think it's fine if you have him. It's not the end of the world. You still have good attacking talent besides him. You still have Almada, you still have Saba, you still have most of the team that'll help you create the chances. So yeah, I think if it comes to it, I wouldn't mind him starting. But personally, I think that Giakoumakis is going to be fine to play, unless we hear otherwise tomorrow. So I'm going to say that, I think he'll start.
Hat trick against NYC.
Well, he has scored a goal at Yankee Stadium on that smaller field. I believe it was a beautiful thread from Almada to Giakoumakis when that goal went in, if I'm remembering it correctly, with the man down because Ibarra got a red card in that game.
Mm-hmm.
But that
And then
was,
they
that was
immediately
a game that
conceded
they should.
30 seconds after.
Right after, yeah.
Yep. The vibes. And hey, you know what? We just said the two things that Atlanta United did, and they corrected one. The other one is when we scored a goal, they came right there, right back, and we would allow a goal. So that's 3. And knocking on everything, Tyler. If you're listening, we haven't done that yet. So with that comes predictions. I think Tyler's already been eliminated from the playoffs with his predictions because he just predicts Atlanta to win every game. But we'll get his prediction. But Henry, you're the youngest here. You get to go first.
I'm gonna say 2-0 Atlanta.
Wow.
I think yeah, I know.
Are we throwing a no hitter?
Yeah, I think it'll be a perfect game. Maybe a grand slam from Thiago Almada or something.
4 goals?
Maybe. Yeah, he has to make up for it. He only has 1 goal, and it's a penalty. I mean, he has to start at some point. But no, getting for real quick. I'm not overly impressed with NYCFC's attacking. The players that they have. You have Santi Rodriguez, who wasted so many chances against They could have won that game if he'd just taken like 1 or 2 chances that he had. He had one like where he was right in front of goal, and I have no idea how he put it like over the bar. It was just bad. And I mean, yeah, I'm just not impressed with what NYCFC have done. I think this is, Atlanta going into this game, like I said, has the better team, has the better roster and attack. And so I think this will be a game where Atlanta can play its game of possession and control and going to win this game, right? So, yeah, that's why I'm saying 2-0. I'm gonna say Almada for the first one and Saba for the second.
1-1.
Okay.
1-1.
That's fair.
GG. That's all.
I'm going to predict a boring game, a very boring one here, but I'm going to say Atlanta United wins 1-0. The gambler in me looks at it and says, when you look at how Vegas looks at these games, Atlanta United is not a favorite going into this game, and they're a pretty far favorite. They're plus 245, I think, and like you look at like kind of comparable of like other games that they're looking at, and away teams like the New York Red Bulls are like plus 235 against Cincinnati, and I think Cincinnati's a much better team than the Red Bulls, and I think Atlanta United's the better team against New York. But they're I think they're just looking at saying Atlanta United can't win on the road. They just can't, and that's how Vegas is looking at this. And I'm hitting Atlanta winning this game. I'm borrowing money from Henry, and we're putting it on there. And then me and Henry are going to Vegas and partying hard after Atlanta United wins this game.
Let's do it.
I'd
be proud of me, Tyler. I predicted this win. It's not being a homer. I believe it. I truly believe that this team should be able to win, Giakoumakis or not. Almada, I mean, his passing, I think every time they go to New York, I think everybody's comment is like, he's such a good passer. This is where he's going to shine. This is where he needs to shine here. This is going to be a big game for him.
Agreed. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm getting accused of hating on Almada. Yeah.
I mean, who would start that rumor? I don't know who would start that.
And also the team morale just feels right. Like you've got 9 points through your first 5 games. You're doing pretty well in the standings. And this is a chance with the right results this weekend to potentially like really vault into one of the high places and really catch up to the front of the pack. So yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be extra motivated, and I think that that'll help them kind of get there.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all we have for today. We didn't have a guest, but we got Henry, so it's better than better than anyone we could have had today.
Yeah.
But again, thank you all for joining us. We appreciate it. Scarvesandspikes.com. Check out all the articles that we'll have on there. Can have a lot on the She Believes Cup over the next week. Games on Saturday. It's a doubleheader. What time's the first game at?
12:30.
Oh, that's early.
Yeah. Not super early, but
Well, the second doubleheader is in Columbus in my neck of the woods, and I think that first game's at 4 o'clock. I think it's like a 4 and a 7 o'clock game. So a little bit later.
US is playing at 7 regardless of Saturday's results. So
How stupid.
I get why.
I understand why, but like we're gonna have the gold. If US doesn't win, we're gonna have the gold medal game earlier, right? When everybody's working and not being able to watch it. I mean, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, again, Patreon. Come join us in the Discord. We really appreciate everyone that's on there. Get your name at the end of the episode. We get to put you on there. And yeah, we'll be doing some watch-alongs here soon. Again, join Tyler and Sydney at the Signia. What time?
6:30. Or thereabouts.
6:30. Go over, talk to Sydney, tell him how much you love Almada. Just make him understand that he's the best in the world. It's true.
Where did the Sydney hating Almada thing come from? I'm still confused on that.
I don't know. I think I don't know if it's hate. We just tease him about it, and he's right though. I mean, there's been a lot of. I guess we were finishing up here, but I mean, Almada. Obviously he's had his games. He hasn't had that signature game yet this season, right? He hasn't had that. But I think at the end of the year, in the playoffs, we talked about it, and that it seemed like he was doing a little bit too much, right? He wasn't making that pass fast enough. And that was an issue there because sometimes it's just get it to the other guys, right? But he would try to hold on to it too long and the ball would get taken away. And I think, especially in the playoffs during that Columbus series, the two that he was able to play, that was a problem with him there. And he's got to know that he's got talent around him now. Early last year, it was just the Giakoumakis and Almada show, right? We were it was the same way that we were scoring pretty much every game. When it was just those two there. And then you got the wings in, you got Saba, and you had Silva scoring. I mean, you had everybody really, chipping in here. Trust your guys because teams are focusing on him, as they should. I mean, he's one of the best players in the league. You got to be able to, get it to someone else. They're focusing on you. Someone's going to be open.
It's essentially what I was saying, but people are accusing me of hating on him. Not you, but...
Well, I mean, I'm defending you here. I know,
have
but
expectations right there. I know.
Yeah,
I know
for sure. And he hasn't been terrible. Let's not say that. He hasn't been terrible. The Columbus game was not good, but he didn't get to practice with everybody. But
yeah, well,
we will be back.
I think it was very solid this last game. Oh, sorry.
I thought he was better in the second half for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing the things he has to do. So. Hopefully we'll see him score and do things like actually get on the score sheet. I feel like that'd be good for his confidence too.
Agreed.
But yeah, anyway, I'll let you close up the show. I'm sorry.
Oh no, just start playing the award music and we'll hit you out. But join us next Wednesday for another Wednesday.
Hopefully.
Yep. A couple home runs, maybe a couple walks. I'm running out of baseball terms here. Hey, I'm a Braves fan now. I don't know if I told you guys, but I adopted a NL team, and I've watched every Braves game so far.
Nice.
Could have been a Mets fan.
I mean, I could have just hated myself even more if I wanted to be a Mets fan.
I don't know. It's rough to be a Mets fan.
Go watch Tyler coach Apathias.
0-4 Mets fan.
I get it, but yeah, it's. I'm excited for the home opener tomorrow. For the Braves. People were confused.
All right.
Well, thanks
See you guys.
everybody. We appreciate it.
Bye, guys.